Hey, what's up, guys? So today I want to show you how to write unit tests for your C++ code. I know sometimes it's a challenge to write unit tests, and there are frameworks out there. There's one in particular, the name escapes me. Oh, yeah, it's called Catch, and you can use that to test your code. However, possibly I'm using it wrong. One of the things about Catch is that it tends to take a long time to compile. So what I'm going to do today is show you how to test your C++ code without doing all that. Now, this is not ideal because it's not going to automate like it's supposed to. For that, I would probably use Catch if you were doing production level stuff. But if you're just testing out your own code, then you can just do something very simple. So let's get started. What I'm going to create is a string class, and then I'll show you how to test it as we go. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Let's add a main first off. So let's add a new item. And we just have the main CPP file. So we add that. And of course, we are going to include, and let me hide this just so that this won't be shown for now. So let's go ahead and include IO stream. And let's write the main. And let's do a simple hello world just so that we know that it works. Let's see. And normally I like using namespace std whenever I use that. That way we don't get that red. So, and we have to return 0, of course, on our main. So let's save that. Let's build it and run it. Just make sure that it actually runs. Let's run it. And one of the things about it when you're running in Visual Studio is that you'll notice that it just kind of went away. One of the things that you have to do sometimes, and I like to just do simple, and you can do system pause. I just don't like using system pause only because it doesn't work on all. I think that's Windows specific. So I do this to kind of pause it, and let's go ahead and run it again. And now we actually see it. Just say hello world. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a string class. And because, of course, if you know, C++ already has a string class, and you don't have to create your own, but it's just for the sample that we're going to create. So let's go ahead and create a class. And we'll call it FC string. Like that. And it has no base class. So let's just create it. And one of the first things that we want to do is add some definitions to this. So one of the first things that we want to do is probably create a constructor that copies over from maybe a regular string. So we'll say const char, and then we'll say it's a pointer, so string. So we'll create that constructor. Of course, with all your classes, make sure that you always do your default constructor and you do your copy constructor. And you also have your assignment. That's important to have. And actually what this needs to have is the operator. And we're going to copy from the other. And what else do we need? So we need assignment operator. We probably want to have the operator doesn't like this because it needs to have a return value. So we're going to return a string as a string. And let's see, why does it not like that? Okay, so yeah, it's not found because we haven't created it yet, but we probably want to have the plus also. So we want to have the plus, what we say operator plus, and we're going to have a left and a right. And I think for this, we need to have a this one, we'll call it this one. And then we'll say const fc string. And I don't even know if I'm doing this right. So I might have to look up how to do the proper overload for that one. And of course, this one's not going to find it. Let's see. Definition not found. That's okay. But before we even get into those, we may want to create just the functions to say fc string. Let's say, for example, well, let's go with that. So we have the operator, and we have the assignment operator, and maybe we want to have something like length, like that, because we want to be able to know the length of the string. We want to be able to copy strings over. So we have the assignment operator right here, because this allows us to copy them over. We want to concatenate them, and I think that's pretty basic stuff. So now that we have these, of course, we have to create some private data members. So we're going to create a private data member. And for that, we can just do a character string. We could say, well, whatever we want to call it, we call it the string. But we don't want to use keywords, so let's just say value, something like that. And that's a pointer. It's created on memory. So now let's go into our file for the C++ file, and we have to create all of these. I'm going to erase those. So one of the things about this is that we need to qualify them as strings. And we're going to just say that this value equals null, just like that. No pointer, actually. And then we need to also do that with the other constructor. But this time what we do is we are going to copy, and we need to include, and actually we'll do it above here. We'll say include, and it's going to be the string, C string class, C string library. So then what we do here is we're going to say string copy this value, and we're going to copy from string, just like that. That's all we have to do. But one of the things before we even copy, we actually have to alloc the value. So one of the things about it is that we have to take and alloc. And now I've heard that you can use string dupe, but let's just do the old-fashioned way, and let's just do malloc, for example. So we're just going to, and we probably for malloc we need to. Actually, we don't even need to do malloc because we're in C++. So we can say the character. We say this value equals new, and we'll say character, and we'll do the string length out of the string library for the string +1, because we need that that value that we have. So we need that. So we need to new it up, and then we're going to copy the value from string into it. Okay. So now for this one, we also need to qualify it, and this constructor in other, and we have to say, we can just say, for example, in this case, we can say, since we're copying, it's a copy constructor. It's very similar. It's not the same, but it's very similar because we can say this value equals, and instead of saying string, we can say other value plus 1. And then we just copy the other value. Just like that. For the assignment, of course, we still have to qualify it. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. We still have to qualify the string. And in this case, we're just going to assign it from, it's sort of like the copy constructor. So we just copy that logic over. We take the assignment from the other one and we assign it to this one. There is a difference in assignment though, because one of the things is that we have to actually destroy the value. So we have to but delete. And we have to say if this value not equal no pointer. And we have to say that we delete this value because we have to clear the memory before we assign anything else into it. So that's very simple, just like that. Thing about this one though, is that we have to turn around and return this value. So we have to return this. I didn't mean to do this. I meant to say return. And then, of course, for our plus operator, we have to take the value and we have to create a new string, right? So we have to take a new string and plus them together. But however, we're not going to modify the existing string. So we take an FC string equals, and then we can just say FC string. And then we can actually say whatever the string concatenate is for the two. So we could say, and I forget what the cat is, but let's leave this one alone. We'll come back to this one because there's going to be some concatenating of this one and that one. And I think we can just use string cat, but for now, let's leave it like this. And let's leave it as this one. And we'll just say value for now. This one dot. I don't understand why it doesn't give me the value. Oh, it's because I haven't qualified this. So I need to say SV string. So now I can say this one. It still doesn't give me the value. Should have gave me the value. Value like that. It should have gave me that. And we'll just return new string for now. But it doesn't like my operator. What does it say? Has no member operator. Pretty sure we had it, but didn't take it. Too many parameters. Okay, see, this is where I was saying that I probably need to research that. So let's just say another like that. I think we just need that one. And we'll save that, and we'll have to come back and fix this one here. We don't need to do that. And we'll just, for now, we'll say this. value like that. And we just return new string. This is going to fail, of course, because we don't have it fixed right, but that's okay because that's why we're doing the unit testing. So now for the length, we can just return string length, this value. One of the things in our constructors is we need to make sure that we always have the value set to null pointer when we don't have a value. And I did a typo on that one. Let me fix that real quick. So then for now, for this constructor, destructor, actually this is wrong. This should be the destructor here, and this should be the qualifier for the class in there. And the only thing we want to do is say if this value not equal null, we delete it. Delete this value. That's simple, just like that. So now we have a class that we can kind of use. And of course, a lot of times at this point, you may be tempted to start using your class, and then in a bigger picture, you're going to use it with other things, and then you run into issues and you'll end up coming back to debugging. So the whole point of unit testing, and I'm not going extreme with TDD and all of that because I'm just something that I never really got used to, but you want to unit test this. So in order to unit test this, you may want to write a class to test these classes. So the only thing that you really have to do is know what's expected and know what to test. And I really like to write that in a separate function. So I'll say, for example, here, I'll say void test string class. And the way I write my test is I usually write a function that'll return, that'll actually just output whether it's expected or not. So I can do something like this. It's very simple to write, and you could do it in any language. So I can say void, and I can say, say for example, you say test, just say test, and then you can write here, you can write a value, right? What you expect. So you can have the string, whatever you expected, or you can actually write what you should see and versus what it is. Now, in this case of string, since we're dealing with strings and lengths and everything else, we can actually write something where it says expected, or you just test the case. Say, for example, you say, you output a string. So you could do a string, or you could do a value. So you could say int expected, or you even better. Let's just go with this: int expected, int actual, and then maybe your test name. So you could say string. In the case of string, test. Just say test. Test name like this. And so here you could just say if expected equals actual, then you can output something. And I did a typo here. So you can say if expected equals actual, then you can say something like cout test name. And then you can say passed. And then if it's not, and notice that we do have cout, so I'm not sure why this is cout is not liking it. We do have iostream, so we can say else cout test name failed. We'll put it on uppercase, failed. Expected, you can say expect, we could put it on another line. So we could say endo here. And we could say see out expected. And we can say expected here, but was, and we can put the actual here. The other thing about this is I'm missing something here because it's saying no operator matches these operands. We do have this IO stream. Interesting. Let me save it. I know in is this way. Okay, so we have this this testing. I'm not sure why it's failing here. Missing something. Oh, I know why. Because we need to include string. Okay. Save it. So I didn't have string included in here. So now when I write my test class, I can actually write, and I have to include my test class, my string here. Include fc string, and so I can declare my fc string here, and I just call it like this, and I can actually test it. Now, the thing about this is, how am I going to know that the test works, right? So I need to see some comparisons or something like that where what am I expecting, right? So the very first thing that we may want to test is, for example, the length, right? And now the thing about this is, like I said in my constructors, when so I do have it to no pointer. When I have the length, if I have a no pointer here, the other thing that I must check is if this value equals no pointer, then I just return 0. Don't even bother checking it. Otherwise, I can check the length. Okay. So the first thing that I want to do is, in my main, is I want to say, I want to test to see if it is what I expected. So I can test 0, and then I can test the actual. And I can name my test whatever string length. Okay. I can name it string length 0, like this. Now, when I run my test, of course, I have to test, I have to call, let's get rid of this, and I have to say test string class. Like this, so it'll run all my tests. So right now I only have one, of course. So let's go ahead and run it. Looks like I have null somewhere. Should be no pointer. Let's see what other errors we have. This function may be unsafe. That's one thing about Visual Studio, that it declares those things unsafe, and you should use something else. So I'm going to set use CRT secure no warnings. CRT secure no warnings. So what I need to do is go into my options. I forget exactly where it is. I believe it's in debugging, general. No, maybe not. I have to come back to this. So let's do string, let's just use string copy as to make it happy. But I don't know if that's going to work because it may have a different signature. Let's see. Destination, size in bytes. Size in bytes. Source. So we just have to say string length and then other dot value like that. See, do we need that anywhere else? Let's say build it. Okay, string copy, we're still using it somewhere. So okay, so the issue that I was having earlier was that string copy as apparently needs the additional, needs all bytes. So we need to copy the last character, the null character. So we still need that. So when we run it now, we get it where string length 0 passed. Okay, so it was that the string length 0 passed. So now, of course, when we do our other tests, we want to be able to test now what about when we pass it something else, right? So we want to test another string. So we say fe string and we pass it something like ABC. We want to see if the length changes. So we are going to test that. And now we expect the length to be 3. So string length 3. So we save it. And we run it. And now we have our string length 3 failed. So it expected 3 but was 0. So why is that? Because we're still testing the wrong thing. We're testing string 1. So let's fix that and run it. And now we have the string length 3 passed. So, but then we also need to actually check the values at some point. So let's say, for example, that we were going to test the equality operator when we have the value. So we need to have a way to test the value that comes out of it. So we may need to add another value, and we may need to say that we need a method where we actually test the character value, and we can actually take and say to C string, and that'll allow us to get the value out of the string. So of course we don't have this function or method, so we need to add that to our string class. So in this case, the only thing we want to do maybe is create it, but then it's going to be a question of who gets to delete it. So the only thing that we want to do in this case, we'll keep it very simple. We'll just return the value. And it's probably not ideal to return the value, but we will for this case. That way they don't have to worry about who deletes this value. So we'll delete it there. And in our main, we can actually test to see that test, we're going to say string compare ABC, and we're going to compare it against the against the value that's in fz string 2 dot c to c string, and we're going to say that it needs to be equal to 0. In other words, they're equal. We expect it, and we expect it to be true. And we say string compare. We'll just call that test string compare. However, one of the problems is this will probably this might work because sometimes this gets converted over to 0 and 1. So let's try it like that. But in reality, we can do something else to make our test more robust, our test method. But let's go ahead and give that a try. We build it, and then we run it, and the string compare passed. So anyway, that's really all there is to testing. You notice we just created a very simple function that tells us, did it pass or did it fail? One thing that I was saying about true and false is that we can actually make this into a template where we say template.
Grandma asks if you know where they are.
No. And we can actually say T here and T here, and then that'll give us the expected equals actual. Of course, they have to be comparable, right, with the equality operator. So now if we build it, it should still all work. And our test still works. So anyway, that's all I have. If you like this video and want to see more like it, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And also I will post all the code related to this and probably a little bit extra in the link below, and you can get it on GitHub. So thanks for watching.